So in this episode, we finally get to see the character that was hyped by the community so much, which made it hard to avoid spoilers and caused me to actually get spoiled on who this character actually was. So, hey guys, what's up? Surma11 here with my review of Steven Universe episodes 98 and 99, or season 3 episodes 20 and 21, Bismuth. This episode left me with mixed emotions, and let me say this right away. I don't like Bismuth, and I don't think I ever will like Bismuth. There's a reason why this character hasn't been seen, and I think we should leave things that way. But let me start off with my review first. So, this episode starts off with the Gems watching Steven play video games. Lion keeps messing with Steven's shirt, so he decides to put it in Lion's mane, where he can't get to it. While in Lion's mane, Steven puts the shirt on one of the trees, and he ends up breaking one of the branches, and he falls on a bubble. This bubble contains Bismuth's gem, so he ends up breaking the bubble on accident, and then the gem turns into it starts materializing into Bismuth. And I really like the way that they did the shot in this episode. The title screen wasn't shown after the opening; it was actually shown when Steven and Bismuth see each other. So Steven tells the crystal gems about the gem inside Lion, and then they tell him to bring her out. So Pearl and Garnet are excited to see her, and then Amethyst is like, wow, a total stranger. And I love that line, and immediately I thought something was off about Bismuth's personality. Then she started to sound very aggressive, and I knew something would probably go wrong in this episode. And it just seems like the ones with big aggressive personalities are the first ones to get killed off in a show or cause some sort of trouble in the show, and that's kind of where this episode leads. So Pearl mentions Rose, and Bismuth had this weird look on her face, and I think that's pretty important to the ending of this episode. And then Bismuth reveals that there were other crystal gems on the team, but they took her to the place where the war had happened, and of course those gems are now dead. It's been 5,300 years since Bismuth has been gone, I think. That's a really long time. And Bismuth seems like she's ready to attack Homeworld immediately, which I thought would be an upcoming plot line, but from the end of the episode, that really won't be happening. And even if that did happen, I'm pretty sure she'd end up getting poothed or end up getting someone else poothed because of this aggressive hate towards the diamonds and Homeworld and all that. And this episode actually had some eye catches because it was 30 minutes long, or 22 or 26, however long half-hour shows are considered with the commercial time. And it's like the show is getting more anime-like with the eye catches, and I don't mind at all. Keep those going. There have been some other scenes in previous episodes that have been more anime-like, and I know the show is inspired by anime, and it's always good to get some different ideas from anime. I really like that. So they end up going to some place called the Forge, and this is where Bismuth made all the weapons for the crystal gems. So she made all the material weapons, and I'm not sure what that means, because they say that Bismuth made all the weapons for the crystal gems. That makes sense, but then it said that she made all the material weapons. So does that mean she made the weapons that Pearl and Garnet can summon? I don't know about that, because I thought those came with the gems. I don't know why I thought that, but I just thought that was a thing. So she ends up giving Pearl and Garnet upgrades to their weapons. Pearl gets a trident, and Garnet gets like some spikes added to her fist and everything. And Amethyst, she sees Bismuth as suspicious because she was never mentioned. And that makes so much sense because, again, this character has never been mentioned, but this character has been seen in the show. And it's just like, why? Why hasn't this character returned? Why hasn't anyone said anything about this character? It makes sense because they thought she was dead. And, I mean, why would you bring up someone that's dead, pretty much? And because of the whole situation with Rose, which I'll get into later, but it does make sense. So they start having some sort of training exercise, and we can see that Bismuth is actually stronger than Garnet. And then she tries to get Steven to fight her, but he says that it's too much for him, and I kind of agree, because we are seeing Steven fight more, but I don't think he's ready to fight like a gem on his own. He's ready to fight a Stevani, maybe, but not on his own. So from this episode, we can see that Bismuth is very prideful, and it's kind of annoying to me. And the whole ritual thing that they were doing, Steven actually has another ritual which involves playing badminton, playing cards, cooking, and watching TV before they go on a mission. Excuse me. And then Steven ends up showing Bismuth Rose's sword, which is something that she made, another weapon that she made. And then we get another story about how Rose was different and inspired Bismuth because Rose was just this great person and affected all the people around her. And Bismuth tells Steven that he can be better than Rose. And Bismuth wants to give Steven a different weapon. And because Rose's sword, I guess, is too nice in a way. Rose's sword can be used to destroy the physical form of a gem, but the weapon that Bismuth has is meant to destroy gems completely. So, yeah, none of that. And Bismuth tries to get Steven to use this weapon, but he disagrees, which is the same thing that Rose did. And this causes Bismuth to get violent, and I'm pretty sure this is a repeat of what happened with Rose. And I thought the gems would come in there and save Steven, but he was on his own in this situation. So Bismuth starts attacking Steven, and he's in trouble. And at one point, Steven has to use his floating power, and I'm still glad that we get to see that more and more in each episode. And Bismuth actually threw a statue at Steven, and it hit him. I was surprised because I didn't think we'd see Steven get hurt that much in the show because he hasn't really been in that many serious fights, but he actually gets hit with the statue, and he ends up throwing it at Bismuth, and he kind of wins the fight, but Bismuth wants Steven to shatter her gem for some reason, so she takes the weapon since he won't use it, and then Steven ends up picking up Rose's sword and using it to stab Bismuth to protect himself. And this got dark really fast. For some reason, Rose didn't tell everyone about Bismuth being bubbled, and I don't really see why it's important because she's clearly a bad person who is, I guess, like, ruled by hate or something. That's kind of like what influences her actions, so it's better to just forget her and then have, like, the good image of her that they did. So Steven, he comes back and tells them about Bismuth, and that's kind of where the episode ends. And this episode was a half hour long, and it was pretty good. I liked it for what it was, but I think Bismuth herself is what made me dislike parts of the episode because I just don't like characters like this. And she's probably going to come up later, but I'd like to see her as a villain instead of an ally, and I'm pretty sure the Crystal Gems will be against her based on her attacking Steven. I mean, like, they like Bismuth and everything, but I'm pretty sure they hold Steven and Rose in a higher regard than Bismuth. And I like the Crystal Gems as they are. I like their team as it is right now. And I think the show was really planned out really well. Like, from season 1, things have been there, and those have been expanded on. It's just been planned out fantastically. I'm pretty sure I've seen Bismuth's gem before in Steven's Lion World or whatever. And we saw her poof lapis in a flashback before. So, yeah, Bismuth has been there. And her character, she's essentially a bigot, you know, just trying to push this agenda and not listening to anyone else's opinion and everything. She starts to react violently when people disagree with her. And I don't really want to get into politics heavily because people start hating on you for that, but Bismuth kind of reminds me of a politician or like people on social media. And it's like you see these comments all over social media that are very stupid. You know, someone may belong to some sort of political party or some group, and then they do something crazy, and then you have people that generalize the whole group for this one person and may even want to harm these people over this one person. And that's how Bismuth was acting towards Homeworld and the Diamonds and all that. So hopefully her personality either changes or she becomes a villain and they have to defeat her. Cartoon Network marketed this as the 100th episode of the show, but it's not. It's actually episodes 90, 98, and 99, so I don't know what's up with that. And I also don't like how chummy Garnet and Pearl were with Bismuth immediately. Like, they weren't the least bit suspicious, and Steven starts to act all happy, but he's a kid. Amethyst was really the only one that was, like, super suspicious. I think Steven was a little bit suspicious in the episode because we got certain looks from him, but I'm not too sure on that. And yeah, anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. The links are below. I'm SirMel11. See you next time, and peace out.